All right. Okay, well, let's begin. Oh, hello, what's up, guys? Welcome. It's been a while. Apologies, my voice is still a little bit, it may sound a little bit stuffy, just a little bit. But I am almost done being sick, I think, voice-wise. Okay, so as seen here in this stream's title here, we're going to be going over why I believe that memory chip stocks are in a bubble, and there are a lot of technicals, well, specifically technical divergences that can explain why we should be seeing further decrease in share prices that have absolutely ballooned in the last 4 months here. And obviously, if you know anything about the memory space, you guys should know that there's currently a memory or RAM shortage, and tickers like MU or SNDK have been very well, they're the prominent two tickers that have been really rallying off of this shortage. And so I think right now, currently, we're facing a very nice parabolic short, and I give you guys reasons why I thought of this and why I put this in the report over the weekend, and give you guys kind of my quick summary, succinct summary. I'm not gonna give you the entire details, since all the juicy details are always in the CFO Swing Watch report. Which again, if you guys are curious and are looking to join and have this very comprehensive top to bottom analysis report every single Sunday night in your email, if you guys want this to arrive in your email every single Sunday night, make sure you guys check the second link down below in the description box to use to subscribe to become a reader of the CFO Swing Watch report. Okay, so with that being said, let's first dive into, before I specifically go into MU and tickers like SNDK as well, I'm gonna go over. We're back. Okay, so before we go into tickers like MU and SNDK, I'm gonna go over kind of my overall market analysis as to the reasons why I was able to kind of see why I think these memory chip stocks are in a bubble, and also why I also identified that they're most likely going to be giving out these potential parabolic short opportunities. Okay, so first of all, you guys should know, okay, this is something that you guys should always remember. The overall tech is the first one, software, and the second, semiconductors. Okay, it's been like that for years. If you guys didn't know that, you guys should remember that. And obviously there's different major players that are coming out that are further dividing, well, not just major players, but just overall major groups that are coming out from the overall AI revolution that we're currently seeing right now and observing, that are splitting the overall tech sector into several more groups. But still, overall, it's still split into halves, right? Software and semiconductors. And whenever we tend to see a lot of sideways consolidation, or just a lot of whiplash price action, a lot of kangaroo price action is what we like to say now, right? In the overall markets, I tend to start checking what the actual under the hood action is for the overall tech group, the tech sector, right? Because again, they're the leaders of a market, of a bull market, and also the leaders of a bear market, right? And so they kind of show the initial indications as to whether or not the markets can correct or start a new bull trend or a bull market. So that's the reason why I took a look at the overall tech sector this weekend, right? And here's what I found. Okay, I'm seeing a complete divergence of strength between semiconductors and software, and we've seen this multiple times last year as well, and even the year before that as well. I highlighted this multiple times in the past 2 years, and in this specific instance, we're seeing that semiconductors are extremely strong, and a subgroup of the semiconductors, which is the memory chip stocks, have been doing extremely well. They've gone parabolic, right? And it's literally an exponential rise, right? Because it's kind of made that trajectory curve, right? If you guys see here on MU itself, if I just take a look at the weekly time frame, okay, so let me show you guys this, right? So this is what we like to call a parabolic rise, or an exponential move up, right? We're literally seeing this exponential curve, right? If you guys remember from, I don't know, either from economics or even just ecology or environmental sciences, right? Or just basic biology classes, you guys should have seen charts with exponential graphs, right? So this is what we're seeing in the semiconductors, right? So the overall memory chip stocks are providing that underlying relative strength for the entire semiconductor group. And so when it comes to the divergence of strength, okay, software has been doing the exact opposite, the exact inverse of an exponential move to the upside. It's been doing the exact opposite, right? We're seeing an exponential move to the downside, okay? So if I bring out my, oops, that's not what I want. Where is it? There it is. Right, so this is IGV. This is the tech software sector ETF, right? This is the exact specific ticker that you guys want to be looking at for overall software, and it's been doing this, right? So it's just the complete opposite of what we've been seeing with semiconductors, which has been doing this, right? So this might even remind you guys of some basic calculus here, right? But anyways, basically we have a very inverse or inverted relationship between these two groups that is a part of the overall tech sector, okay? And this made me think, since software is extremely oversold, they got really oversold today. We'll talk about this at a later time, but partly because of the fact that this was also in the report as well. But I want to stick to the main topic of tonight, which is, again, memory chip stocks. But because the fact that we know that the overall tech sector is divided into halves, right? Software and semiconductors, there's most likely going to be an internal rotation, right? We always see this internal rotation, as I've said a couple minutes ago, when we see the overall markets moving sideways, or just, again, that whipsaw kangaroo price action where the markets don't really go anywhere while sticking to all-time highs, because there is an internal rotation amongst the overall leading group, which is the tech sector. And also, as a side note, there's also a complete rearranging of money inflow and outflow between every single major sector, at least 11 sectors out there that are considered quote-unquote major sectors, okay? And that's also what we've experienced and observed this entire week so far as well. But I'm not gonna talk about that, right? So again, this internal rotation is something that you guys should always remember if you guys are just hearing about that now, right? This internal rotation between semis and software, and it's becoming even more apparent as this kind of re-rating continues with the overall AI industry, right? This burgeoning AI industry. And so people are starting to realize that some software companies, or some specifically software and hardware companies, could not be benefiting from this AI industry, this new AI industry, and also can actually be completely put out of business, right? That's kind of the scare here when we're talking about these new AI, right? Like Claude, Anthropic, okay? These are two major players that are essentially destroying the current value, well, I should say valuations of specific software companies, because we do know that some specific software companies like cybersecurity are still kind of not feeling the heat yet from these AI companies and these new additions that are coming out for these specific AI tools like Claude and Anthropic AI, right? But then again, that's kind of what's been happening so far. I'm kind of giving you guys a quick little recap as to what's been happening within software itself. And so again, this made me think that, if you were to see a brief pause in the sell-off, so just a very nice capitulation of these sellers from the past, like I would say the past a little over 2 months so far, is what's been the time frame as to how long this software sell-off has been going on, right? And in that same time frame, we've actually gotten memory chip stocks, right, going parabolic in that same amount of time, right? And so this led to me looking at SMH, right? So this is the semiconductor ETF, excuse me, and obviously this looks absolutely completely different to IGV, right? Ticker symbol IGV. And again, it makes sense, right? It makes a lot of sense. And so if IGV were to have this capitulation and a nice short-term oversold bounce, because again, it's in a very oversold territory on all the higher time frames, right? That should lead semiconductors to have a nice big pop, right? But here's the little caveat here, right? It's not just in the semiconductor entire group, right? It's specifically in the memory chip stocks. So ticker symbols like MU, okay? and SNDK, right? These are two of the stocks that have really benefited from the RAM shortage that we've been seeing since like September, okay, or October, something like that, okay. So again, SNDK has been the leading stock, right? SNDK has been the one that's been absolutely rallying and rallying and rallying nonstop, okay, and MU has just kind of been the beneficiary of this massive rise, even though MU is also known for their memory chip stocks, right? Excuse me, memory chips, memory chip technology. So here's what I said. Okay, now we can look into what I've written for the members here in the report on Sunday night. So I said this one is clearly setting up for a parabolic short, no matter what the macros are or what the fundamentals are. Once the price loses a critical triple-digit share price, which will be the $400 level here, there will be a quick change of volume as sellers gain a lot more confidence to short and move the price downwards. Now, when it comes to parabolic shorts, 1 to 2 days worth of shorting activity can erase the entire parabolic upwards activity that the stock saw a few weeks ago. Why? Well, there are hardly any established support levels to get through. In the case of this specific stock, MU, you can clearly see where I have outlined where the parabolic move began. And obviously it's not here, but here, let me show you guys where this parabolic move began. All right, so it began right here, right? So overall, this has been a big move, but the actual parabolic activity officially began once it was able to break over this 260 level here, right? So you can clearly see this with the volume as well. I mean, these are weekly candlesticks, guys. I mean, these weekly volume bars are absolutely insane. Okay, so this is clearly the parabolic move, and there are hardly any significant supports during this entire move up higher. Right, I mean, there's literally no support that you can make or draw on the weekly time frame, and if you take a look at the monthly, there's none. Okay, so you know, maybe there are intraday support levels that you can use as entry points, but that's pretty much it, right? And as seen on the weekly RSI down below, right here, okay, and again, the RSI was showing at 87.96 right before this week began. Okay. The technicals are getting quite overbought. So with all the stars aligning here, okay, if we can have one more large push higher, which we actually got on Monday, that might set the short setup off. But who knows? Maybe last week was that last push higher. Just set your alert at the crossing of the $400 level, and you should be good to go short. All right, and so far this has been playing out absolutely nicely. Now, with all this information now, so here I give you guys the succinct summary of why I was able to identify this internal rotation and also these technical divergences that are happening within this leading group of the overall tech sector. But at the same time, I was able to give you guys now this overall specific information as to why we're looking at MU this week. Okay, so again, just from technicals alone, right? Parabolic move. The RSI is showing very, very overbought values, which it still is, even after today's price action combined with yesterday's price action. And if you guys are wondering if you guys are too late, maybe to go short on this name, you guys might be a little bit too late to go short. However, relish in the overall look of this weekly time frame, because there's still a lot more gains to erase. Because again, the parabolic move was just around here, and if you just take a look at the overall move, right? I mean, this is just a little bit, I would say a little less than half of the overall move that we saw here, right? Since September. So if you're looking to go short, right, I think you can still have an overall biased view, perspective, technical perspective, to go short on these memory chip stocks. And so that brings me on to SNDK. All right, so this wasn't in the report, but this again has been the leading memory chip stock that has been leading this overall RAM shortage as far as share price surgence, right? The overall share prices that have been skyrocketing, SNDK has been the leader in that. And so the fact that SNDK is the leader, right, clearly leads me to believe that if SNDK is to pop, right, have a nice big move to the downside to erase this overall parabolic move. And again, for SNDK as well, this parabolic move began just like with MU, okay, around this area, right, where the weekly volumes were absolutely insane here as well. So it began about 5 weeks ago, right, 5 to 6 weeks ago, right, between MU and SNDK. So to me, this clearly indicates to me, I mean, even on the weekly time frame for SNDK, I mean, if you just take a look at the RSI barely moved, right? It's at 89.97, and there has been absolutely insane call options activity on SNDK that are targeting the $1,000 strike call options on this one. And to me personally, I don't know if any of the memory chip stock bulls are out there watching this right now, either the replay or the stream now. I hate to tell you guys, whenever we see those such far out the money strikes hitting for millions of dollars, while the price is already at huge overbought conditions and at really extreme highs, that usually indicates tops being formed. And hey, maybe I might eat these words and I might regret it, but I'm just depending on the actual data that I'm seeing here on my screen with my 2 naked eyeballs. Okay, and so again, these 2 naked eyeballs have been able to identify yet again this internal rotation that we may be seeing between software and semiconductors, that's a part of the overall leading tech group or tech sector. Okay, so to me, SNDK has to be the leading memory chip stock that has to have that bubble pop right away in order for MU to also continue downwards. All right, but there are a lot of opportunities here. Even if we don't see a rapid decline, I think there is a lot of room of opportunity for you guys to go short on these memory chip stocks as they cool down at the very least in the last 4 to 5 or even 4 to 6 weeks alone, right? Worth of price action alone. Okay, because again, for MU, it seems like, oh, actually MU, this has been going up. Well, it's been going parabolic for, for about 4 to 5 weeks here. Yeah, 4 to 5 weeks. I would consider starting from here since the volume absolutely began to pop off the subsequent week after this one. So, so for both MU and SNDK, in between these 2 tickers, the last 4 to 5 weeks worth of price action can be erased in the next couple of weeks, right? As long as, again, SNDK can't continue to move down. But then again, even just this move down so far this week alone, the weekly RSI hasn't moved that much, so there's still a lot of room to the downside if we do see this, again, this internal rotation between software and semis, and also just the overall subgroup of semiconductors popping, which is the memory chip stock. So again, let me give you guys a quick summary, right? What you're looking for, what you have to be looking for, and what you have to remember is that the overall tech sector is divided into 2 major groups, semiconductors and software. And currently, these 2 groups have completely diverging price action, trends, momentum, and sentiment. And so if those overall factors flip, right, and they switch places between semiconductors and software, we could be seeing a subgroup in semiconductors, which is memory chip stocks, which we just gone over, right? MU and SNDK, to have a nice move lower that can actually lead the other semiconductors like NVIDIA, AMD to go further down. All right. So this is something that you guys should remember, right? And it'll be very beneficial for you guys to remember this for the near-term future, because again, as I've also mentioned earlier, the 1.5 years or so, it's now becoming more than 2 groups, right? It's not just software and semiconductors anymore. We're actually going to start to see more groups pop up in the overall tech sector, and it'll become more apparent as time goes on. But it's clear that these 2 leading groups, right, semiconductors and software are still in this kind of dance, this circle of rotation. And currently today, all right, now we can go back to the current price action, right? So if you take a look at SMH and IGV again on the daily time frame, okay, the semiconductor sector has been moving down, right? We have lost the overall short-term uptrend, and IGV had the largest volume bar or node today, right? So I actually called this out. So in the private CFO Discord channel before the markets ended, I believe I said here, let me see. Let me actually pull it up here. I put it here somewhere. Yeah, okay. So I said IGV will end up with 45 million daily volume today at this point with this amount of volume that we're getting. And believe me, I think around the half point day of today's trading, I think we were at like 35 million. I think we were at 35 million. Yeah. So exactly at 12:16 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I said IGV will end up with 45 million daily volume today at this point. And so obviously I was absolutely on point. We ended up at 45.28 million, and I believe this is the largest volume node that we've gotten so far in IGV here since its inception. I think I checked it earlier. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm just doubting my memory here. Yeah. So to me, when we start to see these historical volume nodes like this, right, especially on IGV, this smells like capitulation, right? Now you might be saying, Andrew, if IGV, okay, which is again half of the overall tech sector, decides to bounce, won't that affect the other half, the semiconductor group? And the answer is, well, yes, that's true, right? It should affect the other half, because why wouldn't it do that? Right? However, you guys have to remember, semiconductors have just begun their downtrend, right? And yes, the volume was high, but this volume is still at highs, right? And this is completely different from software. Okay, so again, completely diverging technical indicators here. And what I want to see are complete switches, complete mirror, well, not mirror, but a complete inverse of what I want to see on SMH and to IGV, right? I want to see overall bearish momentum, bearish price action, bearish sentiment coming on to SMH, and the complete opposite, right? The bullish factors to start coming into IGV, right? And again, this isn't new, right? We have known that the overall tech sector tends to have this internal rotation in between semiconductors and software. Does that make sense? Okay, so if that makes sense, make sure you guys click that like button down below. Okay, so basically, okay, I am going to expect tickers like SNDK, SanDisk, right, or Micron, right, ticker symbol MU, to eventually continue to move down. And most likely tomorrow, we're going to be seeing some consolidation out of the semiconductor group, right? While IGV attempts to continue to try to capitulate and move back up higher. I mean, again, IGV, this is so oversold. I mean, just take a look at the RSI, right? On the daily time frame, guys. All right, this is lower than the April low that we saw of last year. All right, so this is really, really bad sentiment. But today, with the massive amount of volume that came in, this smells like sellers have exited, right? And the fact that sellers have exited right at my $82 support level that I've had since back in, what, early 2024? Yeah, right here, okay, has been used yet again. And so this is pretty much a pretty good area for buyers to defend this $82 level, and hopefully they continue to defend this level, because I want to see this rotation, and I really want to see this oversold bounce on the daily time frame occurring, because again, the RSI is in the teens, right? 17.77. That is insane, right? If you just take a look at the weekly too, it's at, I think it's like 20 something, yeah, 27.63, right? So this is insane, right? So, you know, with this such divergence in the overall tech sector, right, you would expect QQQ to be down more, right? But it's not, right? So QQQ just tapped $600 today, and it just held, right? You might have thought QQQ might have been, you know, at 560 or, you know, at 580 or 585, right? But look, still sticking to highs, and this is what I've basically told you guys earlier in the stream, right? When markets stick to highs and are very sticky at highs and kind of whipsaw around, right? They just kind of have the seesaw price action or kangaroo action. Hey Joel, thank you. Always great information. Yes, you know it. And again, if anyone is enjoying this information, and if you guys, again, this information is applicable now and for the future, and if you guys are enjoying this, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and click that like button down below. Okay, so when it comes to, again, this whipsaw action, and just kind of the kangaroo price action at all-time highs or just relative highs, you have to check what the overall tech sector is doing. And again, they're divided in halves, right? Semiconductors and software. Okay, and so, you know, it just makes sense that I had to look at semiconductors and software this weekend, and that's the reason why I came to this conclusion that it just makes sense for memory chip stocks to have their brief bubble action that they've seen in the past 4 to 5 weeks to eventually pop. And so hopefully today was the initial reaction to seeing this overall parabolic move turning into an opportunity as a parabolic short. And again, I am short MU. I'm not going to tell you guys a trade that I put into the CFO Streaming Watch report and the CFO Discord. And again, if you guys want the perks of that, you guys have to become readers of the CFO Streaming Watch report, which will automatically give you access to the private CFO Discord chat room. And again, I highlight this every single time, right? I really think that you guys should try it out at least for a month. I guarantee you guys, you won't regret it. Okay, the research is top tier. Right, I spent hours reading, going through charts, right? Everything that most people have the time to do, all right? And I always give out this great information every single weekend, okay? So again, if that interests you, right? If you guys don't have the time, or again, if you guys just want more detailed top-down market analysis and just overall a comprehensive outlook to each new trading week, this CFO Streaming Watch report is for you. And again, even if it does say CFO Streaming Watch report, right? It's not just for swing trading. You guys can use it for investing purposes. You guys can use it for day trading purposes, right? It matches every single person's trading style, right? I give you guys the analysis. I give you guys the trade ideas. I give you guys the game plans. I give you guys the analysis, fundamental and technical analysis, right? Of each single idea that I put out in the report. So again, if all of this interests you, right? If this is really interesting, and if you guys, I think that you guys can apply it correctly to your own trading journeys, make sure you guys check out the description box down below using the second link to subscribe to become a reader of the CFO Streaming Watch report. Okay, again, it's the CFO Streaming Watch report. All right, so I think it just makes sense. Okay, so that, again, that was my little promo there. Okay, I really think that MU has a lot of room back down to at least 350 here. I mean, at least MU has a pretty solid support level on the daily and on the intraday. But again, on the weekly, there isn't too much, right? I mean, it would be pretty nice to see it kind of stalling around 350, because I think at the very least the weekly 10 SMA here can actually catch up. And so if we're able to see do nothing, thank you for the fire emojis. So if we were to see a coinciding retest of the daily the weekly 10 SMA and the 350 support level on the daily time frame that we saw just now, I mean, that'd be nice. That'd be very nice, right? And as far as SNDK, well, this one has a lot of room to go down. I mean, look at this. Look at this doji here. I mean, this is clearly, I mean, I don't know how, just from a technical perspective, guys, and analysis, this is the perfect evening doji candlestick, right? Evening star doji candlestick, right? And if this is truly marked, the bubble popping for the leading memory chip stock, which is SanDisk Corp, which is ticker symbol SNDK, I really think SNDK has a lot of room to go to the downside, and at the minimum, I've told my members this earlier today as well, it should be reaching 500 to 450, right? 450 to 500 is a good range for this one to start stalling as it moves down, right? I mean, just on the daily time frame too, it's still overbought. It's still at the highs here at 66.39 for RSI, but then again, check out that weekly RSI, right? It's still sitting at 89.97. It was at like 91 this morning, I think, or at the start of this week, I think, like 91. So, I got everything that I wanted so far, and my analysis has been absolutely on point from the CFO Swing Watch report that was sent out to my readers on Sunday night. Okay, and we've got that initial pump in the first half of this week, and then we're getting that flush now that began yesterday and today, depending on which memory chip stock you're looking at, either MU or SNDK. Again, doesn't matter which one you guys look at, but SNDK has kind of been the leading memory chip stock to go parabolic. It's kind of been the first ones to go parabolic, I think back in like late August, mid-August, and then MU has been kind of the beneficiary of this overall memory chip uplift into stratospheric highs. All right, so again, the parabolic short opportunities have not left, even though tickers like MU you could be a little bit late, because now we could be seeing some sort of consolidation occurring. I mean, on the daily time frame, we have this retest of the daily 21 SMA today, and the fact that we closed above it, that brings a little bit of consolidation indications into the end of this week, which is fine. And again, it should make sense that that the semiconductors can start consolidating at these current lows, because if software decides to lift a lot of leading software tickers to have a nice parabolic bounce, is what I would say. Nice, well, not parabolic, I should say V-shaped bounce is a better word. Okay, V-shaped bounce from these oversold conditions, and that will overall uplift the entire tech sector. And again, that will affect semiconductors. I'm not saying it's not going to affect that. I mean, how could that not affect the other half of the overall tech sector, right? So again, if the overall software group decides to bounce and have a nice V-shaped recovery in the next couple of trading days into next week, which again, hopefully it occurs, then we should be seeing some consolidation coming in for semiconductors, and especially for memory chip stocks. But I'm not going to be seeing, hopefully, I'm not going to be seeing any type of, a revisit back to all-time highs or even new all-time highs for these memory chip stocks, because they have gone into the extreme levels, bought conditions, and even just an options flow, right? The cost skew is absolutely crazy, and it's the type of cost skew that you tend to see at extreme highs, where they basically mark an intermittent top. Okay, so yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. Hopefully you guys got some good information out of this. And I know my voice is a little bit raspy. It kind of hurts to talk a long time still. So it's been raspy since the morning. But again, if you guys have been able to hear me correctly, hopefully that's been the case throughout this entire stream. Hopefully the connection didn't cut off. But yeah, I mean, please do what you guys want with this information. And again, you guys can always get these information, this type of information a lot earlier. Again, a little wink wink, a little promo here. But I really think that you guys, anyone out there that's watching the replay or the stream now that is not a part of the CFO Swing Watch report and the private CFO Discord community, I think you guys are missing out on a lot. I mean, I really do pour out my heart and my fingers to type, literally, hours on end every single weekend. Well, I usually do hours of reading first and clicking away and typing away and looking at the overall markets. I go over tens of hundreds of tickers at some points in the weekend if I have to get more information. So again, just the overall flipping through charts alone, I spend a lot of time. Okay, so I do this because I want to give you guys, at the very least, the most accurate perspective and outlook for each new trading week. All right, and hopefully for any of the readers here now watching the stream, that has been the case where I've been able to prepare you guys sufficiently to be able to, at the very least, either hedge your positions or get out of some positions or start new positions, go short, etc. Right? Hopefully that has been the case for you guys. And again, if any of the people who are interested in becoming a reader, make sure you guys look at the description box. It's the second link, right? It's hard to miss. It says it right there, right? It says subscribe to the CFO Stream and Watch report and gain access to the CFO Discord community. And you guys will see a arrow, right? You guys can see an arrow emoji or indicator there, and the link is right there. Okay, and so you guys can just click it, open it, take a look, go through the website. It's a very, very basic website. And if you guys have any more questions, you guys can ask me, right? Just DM me on Instagram at chartsfocus1. But yeah, I mean, please just take a look at it, right? It's just a few clicks away. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. And Joey said, always information that is on point. Yes, that is true. Okay. Okay, so again, every single information about the CFO Stream and Watch report can be found either on my Instagram page at chartsfocus1 or directly on the subscription website. Okay, so please head on over. You guys can look at it. Again, if you guys have any questions regarding the tiers that I have for you guys, again, once you're on that page, the ball's in your court. You guys can go over the tiers, what perks it has, go over it, and yeah, I mean, I always try to not, promo my CFO Stream and Watch report, but again, I always mention it because I really believe that you guys can benefit from it. I truly believe that. Okay, I use my own report. Okay, so that should say something. I mean, I use it to track the overall markets every single trading day and how I manage my positions too. Does that make sense? Because why wouldn't I? It's my own analysis, right? Did nothing you said. I second that. Thank you. Okay, so I really think that the memory chip stocks have a lot more room to continue to move lower, right? And again, it's most likely going to be a hard fight. As you guys know, that this RAM shortage has been providing a lot of retail traders to just pile in relentlessly, right? They don't even care what the price is at. They just continue to pile in, thinking that the price can just go on higher and higher and higher and higher, right? And that's when shorts, right? Short sellers can step in and say, we're not gonna do that anymore, right? And so I think we're nearing that stage. Okay, so again, please keep your eyes on this one. All right, MU, SNDK, and obviously the relationship that I've just given you guys is this. Hopefully it's not a new information because I talked about it plenty of times in the past 2 years. But this relationship of between software and semiconductors, these major halves of the overall tech sector, okay, and this internal rotation that has been going on for a long time. Okay. All right. Well, that is it for tonight's stream. Hopefully I can see you guys. Maybe I'll do a stream tomorrow too during market open, or maybe on Friday at market open. We'll see. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Probably at the same time at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time if I don't do a morning one. But I might be bringing back the morning ones. Okay. All right. Okay, well, that's it, guys. Good luck. Hopefully this information that I gave you guys in the stream has been applicable, and most importantly, learning experience for anyone who really gained something from the stream. Hopefully you guys did. Right? Have a great rest of your night, and good luck tomorrow. I'll see you guys in the next one.